Hello, folks, and welcome to the session today. It's so good to have you here. I just want to thank you for making it out. In today's class, we're going to be focusing on trying to stretch the lower back area and provide some feeling of support for the low back. If it's feeling tight, if there's some pain in that area, this is going to be a great class for you to go through. So find yourself onto your yoga mat. And make sure that your yoga mat is near a wall, because the very first posture that we're going to do is legs up the wall. And this is going to really help us just relax into the back body. And if you don't have a wall nearby, you can just use like a couch or something like that. But I'm sure you've got a wall, right? Somewhere. And I'll see you over there on the mat. So let's do it. So for legs up the wall for me, I'm gonna actually just use my little bench here. I'm just gonna go kind of close to the bench with my bum and then just take my back onto the ground. And just resting there is kind of the first step. And I just want you to feel kind of the density of your upper back and the hips kind of settling down into the floor. Now, if you are going for the legs up the wall fully, then a good thing to do is to take a rolled up towel or your yoga mat. You can roll up your yoga mat and use it the same way and just put it underneath the low back. That could be a really great way to support that area and just kind of cushion. And then just rest your hands on your stomach. And let's take about 5 to 10 rounds of breath here as we have our legs a little higher than the rest of our body. I'm liking legs on the bench. It's a good version. It feels really nice. It's a little bit less heavy in the upper spine and the upper body, just because the legs aren't up so high. So if you have a couch and you want to try this version, you could do it on the kind of the arm of the couch or where you'd sit. And let's just take 2 more breaths in and out the nose. And after you're done that last breath in with legs up the wall, just kind of roll away from the wall and lay down on your back on your yoga mat. Once you're on your back, you're going to bring both knees in towards your chest and hug the knees kind of wide. And have the hands on the area that's just below the knees, kind of on the upper shin or the mid shin. And then just allow the legs to get hugged in towards your chest here. And now you can hug in closer, and you can still allow the low back to be relatively connected to the floor. And then another version of this one that we're going to try doing today is just bringing our feet a little closer together, maybe even they touch. And then we're going to grab for the ankles. You can see how I'm grabbing ankles and in between my legs instead of grabbing the outer legs. And then we're going to pull the legs in towards the groin. Three more breaths in this variation of the posture. And continue those last 2 breaths. And again, the second variation, when you're grabbing your ankles, might just be a bit deeper of a stretch into the groin area. And then from the back of the body, we're going to start to just give some massage and rock and roll up and down the length of the spine. This is totally optional. If you're hesitant to do it, then don't do it. But for the most part, I think it should feel pretty good for most of us. So we're just going to kind of roll back and then roll forwards. And we can do this gently. We don't have to go all the way forwards. We could just roll like this. Like we could just take the knees to the chest, lifting the hips up and legs back down. But if it feels okay for you to do a little bit of this rocking and rolling, Give it a shot. Let's do 2 more. Last one. Awesome. Now let's lay down in the back again. We're going to do threading the needle. So this is a posture that can really help low back pain. So we're going to support the knee by hugging the right hand on the leg, and then the left hand goes on the shin, and then we're going to hug that leg towards our chest. Now we can do this with our left leg bent, like we have it, or we can extend the left leg out like this, and then just maintain that exact same position that we have in the angle of the leg. You choose. I really like to flex my ankle a bit. So you're pointing your toe at your knee, your right toe at your right knee. And take one more breath in. And then out and draw the knee across your body to the left side. Take the knee into your left hand and take your right hand and reach it out to the right hand side. And we're just going to feel a stretch move into the outer right glute muscle. And we'll advance on this a little later. So don't move it fully into the twist. We will go there eventually. We're just kind of exploring. Primarily, the stretch is here in the bum. Outer butt, outer hip glute area. Right arm to the right side. Take one more breath in. And a breath out, come back. Release that leg. And bend the left knee into the chest. Turn the leg to the side. The left knee points to the left. And the foot goes on top of the right thigh there. So we're in thread the needle position. We're going to draw that leg into the chest. Grab hold of the right hamstring. That's our first variation. Just a standard thread the needle. Really good to stretch out those glutes. Second option, left hand cradles the left knee. Right hand holds the ankle. Right leg extends. And you keep hugging that left leg just on that diagonal position. Up and to the left. Groin and glute stretch. So there's something called like referral pain or referral leg. It can happen like tightness and soreness and stuff like that. And this is just the idea that sometimes when one area of our body isn't operating properly, the pain isn't always felt right in that area that's problematic. Sometimes the pain can actually be referred somewhere else in the body. And so that's why it's worth doing yoga, because it targets so many different areas of the body, and you can kind of get to those referral areas even if you don't know what they are. But for the low back area, I've heard and done some research on it, and kind of a lot of information points that in the low back there's referral areas that, like, if the glutes are weak, if the psoas muscle is weak or not properly operating, or not stretched enough, or sometimes really tight, then it can refer pain into the low back. Let's take that knee over to the right side. Take it to the right hand and just a little bit over to the right so you can feel that stretch in the outer left glute and hip, and your left arm can reach out to your left side if you want to. And again, just be gentle for this first variation on this leg grab. For the most part, keep your hips fairly close to the floor, both hips. Last breath in this position. And then you're going to let your legs come back to the center and go ahead and just rest your feet down on the floor. You're going to turn over to your side and come over onto your hands and knees. And we're going to go into variation on deer pose. So let's do the left side first, because why not? So left side, leg comes down, the thigh, and then the right knee kind of comes onto an angle. Same angle as the front leg. Now we're going to come down into the ground. with our elbows. And from here, we can stay. But I'm going to give you a different variation to work on today. So we're going to press the left palm down, just lift our chest up a little bit. Then we're going to reach the right arm underneath the left arm. How far underneath? It's different for everybody. So you can just go a little bit. You can kind of see my hand here, not the best. Or we can go a little further. And we can just feel how that changes the stretch into that right hand side. And so we're just going to hold that. This one feels so nice. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Now you can utilize your hands and just add that little bit of gripping with the hands that aids you in the stretch that you're looking for in that right hand side of the torso, down into the low back. And let's come back to center. And we're going to go quite the opposite way now. We're going to walk our hands closer to our left foot and kind of just lift up the heart. And you can reach the right arm up if you want to. So taking a breath in and reaching up. Exhale, palm back down. Just getting that counter action in the spine. Bring the hands back to a neutral feeling and come back to hands and knees. So both hands, both knees. We're going to draw the right knee up to the right hand. Swivel the shin under the pelvis, kind of like pigeon, and then just slide the butt onto the floor for deer pose, just like this. Then from there, we're going to walk our hands to face forwards on the yoga mat. And we're going to go for that reaching under again. So the right hand stays supporting just kind of underneath or in front of the knee. Sorry, in front of the right knee. And then we're going to reach the left arm underneath the right armpit. And we're going to feel that rotation in the spine and twisting down into the low back. Close your eyes, focus on the breathing. Deep breath in the nose. And deep breath out the nose. Notice kind of where you feel it in the skin level, and then deeper down into the muscles. You can reach the left fingertips a little bit more to the right and just wiggle and get that stretch into that right side or into that left side if that feels okay for you. And then push that palm back down and lift yourself back onto both hands. Come back to a more neutral position. And then we're going to go ahead and lay down on our back next here. So just get onto your back. Sit on the butt, lay down. Extend the left leg out, hug the right knee into the chest, grabbing on top of or grabbing behind the right hamstring, and pull in just that right leg towards your heart. And we're going to play a little circle into the hip here, just playing. And so let's just start with a rock side to side, so that the right knee is rocking within the hip socket, and the femur bone's moving to the left and to the right. And now I want you to make this like almost like the shape of a long grain of rice. So you're just starting to open up the circle. It's no longer just like an eyelid shape. Now we're kind of drawing a long semicircle, or a long, I don't know what my words are trying to say anymore. Start circling your leg around. Stirring the leg. It's wider left and right than it is moving far away from you right now. That's kind of what I was trying to say. And let's start to evolve that and make it bigger and bigger, allowing the leg to push away from you into the hands and pull in with the hands. Push away into the hands. You might have to use activation to push the leg forwards into the hands, and then use the hands to pull back in. Let's do 2 more circles. And let's go the opposite direction with the same leg. So now we're going to draw the circle to the left. If you remember which way you were drawing the circles before. And one more time. And then getting onto the opposite leg. So extend the right leg out, draw the left leg in, and hold. So these circles really help me understand where the range of motion is in my hips and where the good feelings and the not so good feelings are. And we don't have to go through the not so good feelings. We might become aware of them and then just know, I got to move around that a little bit. Okay, so let's start rocking the leg left and right, kind of like a swing. Just one pattern, left and right. And then making that a little bit more of that big oval shape. And you're stirring the leg within the hip socket, making it a little bit bigger now. And breathing. In and out, breathing through the nose. And then stopping the leg back in the middle and drawing a few in the opposite direction, opposite circles. I can definitely feel my right hip feels tighter than my left hip today. Is there something that you can notice based on these circles that you've done here? Let's return the leg to a neutral position and go ahead and put the feet back down onto the floor. We're going to turn over onto our front next. And we're going to go into a child's pose, which is just a great posture for the back in general. So if you have blocks around or bolsters, you can bring them in front of you just like this. Then just come onto those bolsters and put them underneath your chest and get that comfort that you're looking for. The knees can be wide apart and the feet can be any distance apart. I like going wide with this one because it goes a little bit more into the groin, but then we can also feel the benefit opening up in the low back area. Now we can change the trajectory of this posture just by pushing the hands. So you can bring your hands in front of you and you can just push forwards with your hands. So hands pressing forwards. And then you might just establish that extra little stretch that you've gotten now and then press the forehead down again. So when we reach the arms forwards, this can sometimes lengthen in the chest quite a lot and put some compression into the low back because our spine's kind of extending. But when we push the palms forwards, sometimes we can actually get the spine into a more rounded position, like on purpose, and then get down into that child's pose. And then explore that sensation and how that changes the feeling in the hips and the low back. You can look your head to the left and the right just once or twice here. And then come back onto your hands. Walk yourself back forwards, move the bolster underneath from you, out from underneath of you. And we're going to get down all the way into the stomach next. We're going to do Cobra. So you're going to go into the stomach, but then you're going to lift up onto your forearms. So we're up onto the hands like this, but we can go higher. So if you want to, you can stay here. This is Sphinx. But if you want to go to Cobra, you can lift up onto the palms. kind of like this. And we don't want to slouch too much into the upper shoulders, but a little bit is okay. Just not like dumping fully into the upper shoulders. We want to support by pressing down with the palms just a bit. And then we also want to support by pressing down with the feet and squeezing the bum just a bit as well. And let's just hold for a few breaths. If this is too intense, just come down onto your forearms in that first variation that I showed you. And let's take just 3 or 4 more breaths in this version of this posture. And then come on down, just gently bending the elbows, letting the chest and stomach come back down. We're going to push down and come onto our hands and knees, and we're going to do dragon lunge. I know it's not everybody's favorite, but it does help a lot for these sore low backs. So we're going to bring our chair into the picture for this one. I am anyways. I'm going to put my right leg to the right side of my chair and then bring my hands and forearms down onto the chair. And we really want the stretch to go across the groin, right side, across the left side. And we're not going to be here for super long. Just take a peek at the time. Yeah, like we'll only be here for about 30 seconds or so per side. So do your best to breathe smoothly in, smoothly out through the nostrils. If your back knee is sore, do this with your toe. So curl that toe under, so it's underneath your heel. That can really help the sore knee. Just 2 more breaths here. Inhale. And out. Last one. And then you're going to push your way back so that you push your forearms down to the floor, into the chair, and then come back onto hands and the knees. And we're going to just swap the chair to the other side of the mat, lunge the left leg forwards, and then come down onto the forearms again, onto the chair. And now we're feeling that stretch just diagonally in the opposite fashion. Left groin to right groin, right side front hip. Let's really make an effort to breathe in and out through the nose for this posture. It will really help the stretch be felt. Take a deep breath in. And out. Feel free to walk that right leg back a little further if you're looking for a deeper stretch across the groin. Last 2 breaths, in and out through the nose. And then we're going to push our hands and elbows down into the chair and come back onto our knees there. Get rid of the chair. And then we're going to lay down on our back and we're going to look for that deeper variation on that stretch that I was explaining before. We didn't go into all the way. So we're going to lift the right knee up in front of us, grab the right knee with the left hand. And we're going to take that right leg over to the right side. We're going to extend the left leg out all the way. And now the right leg goes all the way over to the left-hand side. And we might reach the right arm over to our right, or we can just keep the hand on our rib cage. So this is a QL stretch. We're going to feel this in kind of the low back to either side of the spine. We're just here for 4 or 5 more breaths per side. Taking a breath in and out. 3 more like that. In. And if it feels open for you, or if you feel open enough, you can reach all the way to the right-hand side, like I said, and look to the right-hand side for the last 2 breaths. And that's just not for me today. I'm liking my hand on my stomach. And let's return back to the center. So we're just going to let our right leg come back up and our hips return to the floor. Right leg down. Right leg extends. Left leg, knee up into the sky. Grab the left knee with your right hand and then take it over to your right hand side so that your hips are stacking. And we're looking to the left side a little bit. Maybe the hand rests on the rib cage or the heart, or opens up all the way to the side. These postures feel so nice after yesterday's fitness class. I'm really digging it. Feeling good in the core. And be with your breath for about 5 more rounds of breath in and out through the nostrils. So you can reach like to the left, but you don't have to bring the shoulder to the floor. Like you can go in active, reaching to the side like this. It's like for me to bring my shoulder to the floor, my arm to the floor, it's too much. Like it actually just wouldn't feel good. So doing this is great. Just reaching, extending, feels really nice in the side of the body. And let's come back, bringing the hips back to the floor. Awesome job today, folks. Let's do one more stretch. It's a hamstring stretch. So we're going to kick the right leg up, kicking the heel to the sky, and pulling the leg into the chest just gently. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's relax this stretch. And same side. I just want you to bounce the leg once or twice. Same side, kicking up. 3, 2, and 1. Let's relax the stretch. Grab on the left leg, and we're going to kick this up twice as well. First round, 5, kicking. 4, extending up through the leg and using the hands as support. 3, 2, 1. Let's bend the knee. Let the leg bounce just once or twice, releasing and relaxing. And then kick and extend up. 3, pressing. 2, and 1. And release and relax. And let both legs extend out all the way. Arms widen out to the side. And let's take final Shavasana. One of the best things you could do for your low back, if you have soreness, because it could be psoas muscle that's contributing to soreness, would be to bolster the underside of the legs. So just take blocks. They go underneath the thighs. I've talked about this a few times, but I'll speak more specifically about why this works in this to help the low back. It's because our psoas muscle goes from the inner thigh to the low back. And when that muscle gets tight, it pulls, right? It pulls on the low back. And sometimes it's in like the similar spot as the QL. It's actually just to the inside of the QL, and its connection point is in the spine. Basically, when it's tight, it will kind of pull on the low back, and it can create some tension for people and quite a lot of pain when people try to lay down flat on their backs. And that good thing to do to alleviate that discomfort is to do this, bending the knees. It can be this much, it can be more, like this, even more, like this, right? We just need to basically put the psoas muscle into a slackened position, which is bending the knees and having them a little closer to your chest. But for some people, the legs and the blocks is enough. It's just that little bit closer to a relaxed psoas that gives them the chance to relax in Shavasana. So I really hope that today's class helped you explore some relaxation in the back, in the low back specifically. And the glutes are very connected to the low back. So you may have noticed we did lots of hip work, glute work, and low back work today. And that hopefully will give you the opportunity to relax those areas a bit more. And and if they weren't sore, just feel them, just to feel that area of your body. Thank you so much for tuning in to the session tonight. I always appreciate to see you in the live one when you have the opportunity to come and do so. It was such a pleasure to see so many of you come in for class tonight. So thanks for that. If you have any questions, let me know. I would love to help you. You know the drill. Reach out for privates whenever you need it. And I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning for our flow class. Let's go. We're going to have an energetic flow class tomorrow morning. So let's make it a good sleep tonight and then come on, hammer out a flow class with me tomorrow morning, okay? See you soon, folks. Have an awesome night.